substitute only 14%. The rest is still out of price control. And combinations and irrational kind of diseases are out of price control. And if you want to get out of price control, paracetamol is under price control. Only paracetamol 500 mg is mentioned in the National List of Essential Medicines. If you make paracetamol 501 mg, I am out of price control. Because if 501 mg is not mentioned in the National List of Essential Medicines. So these are kind of loopholes. And then there's market-based mechanism. They have a mechanism for determining the ceiling price, which we found rubbish. Because what they have said is that the pricing to determine the ceiling price means maximum price they can sell. Is that what they have done is they will take all brands of a particular drug, say paracetamol, with 1% market share, and their prices, and then they will make a simple average of that. So what happens is if a lot of people are selling at very high prices, so the average will go up to the right. So that's what exactly has happened, which I'll show you some figures. So even with this simple average pricing mechanism, our drugs after price control still selling anything between 1,000% to 5,000% profit. I'll show you how. So these are loopholes that are great. So we are fighting against all this. Again, we have pointed out to the Supreme Court, these are the problems. And in fact, I didn't attend the last hearing, but he attended. And in fact, the judge wanted to quash this. This is rubbish, and he was firing the government. It's good. Now, the important thing you should realize is why does this happen? I've written here part of the answer. You know, anybody who says markets, it's a mantra nowadays. Everybody will say, oh, leave it to the market. Leave it to the market. No, certain things you cannot leave it to the market. And those things are health, education, and even food. But I'll stick to health and pharma and medicines. The idea of underlying the idea of markets, let the markets work, is the idea of a perfect market. Those of you who have done economics, you have read a lot about perfect market. But the perfect market is a perfect, it never happens. Anyway, and in certain sectors it does not happen even most of the time. So that is one of the sectors is health sector and pharma sector. Now for market, when there are so many players, the normal theory is this, that if you have so many producers, there will be competition and price will reduce. You heard of this? You heard of this? Everybody talks about this. If you have a lot more producers, price will drop because there will be competition, etc. This everybody has said. Yes or no? Nobody is nodding. One or two people are nodding their head. This is a famous market principle. Leaving it to the market means this is what the market will do. There are so many real estate players in India now. Has the price of housing fallen? No, it does not. It has become inaccessible. Inaccessible for people like me. Me means I'm one of the more fortunate people in this country. So, markets don't work in the real estate sector, markets don't work in pharma sector. And one of the reasons is that, and again, if markets have to work, but many producers bring down prices, is that buyer and seller should have equal amount of information. In the medicine sector, the buyer and seller do not have equal amount of information. Is it true or not? Why? How? You ask questions, no, I think I'm talking too much. Doctors only prescribe, and you may have a PhD in rocket science, but when it comes to crisis, you don't have time to search the Google. So you don't have time. It's your mother, your father, your daughter, your wife. जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं हौले उड़ जाते हैं, because you don't know, and you have to take what doctors say and what the pharmacists say and what the pharma companies say. You don't have time to damage, and you don't have even trustworthy doctors in your circle. Most of us are. I have, because I've been in this field for 30 years. If anything happens to me, I check. I know for if it's a medicine case, I know who to talk to. If it's a surgery case, I know who to talk to. But that's not the situation of most people. So you have to rely the faith on the doctors. You know, put your faith in the doctors. But it's an unequal situation. So whenever there is such an unequal situation with respect to, especially information about the product, markets fail. There's a market failure. And the pharmaceutical sector in India, and as well as in America, and as well as several other great countries, in China, is a case of market failure. So when markets fail, what happens is anybody can sell things at any prices. Now I'm giving an example of, tell me example of where markets succeed. Any other sector. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it happens. बताइए. Some. There must be something where the markets work. Otherwise, why this myth will go on so long? Yeah.
I don't know, sir, in which medicine you are practicing. We also would like to know that. And by saying that, in Bangladesh, the government doctors, those who are working with big hospitals, are very busy with private practice. And maybe it would not be irrelevant to say that I'm a wife of a doctor for the last 30 years. So I have seen also the doctors, those who are working as the government doctors, they are kind of involved with politics. And
involved in policy.
Politics. And those who are in a good book of the government, they are getting some kind of special treatment. And when you mentioned our National Medicine Policy 1982, it reminds me of a medicine called Fencidil. It was a cough syrup. Fencidil, codeine phosphate was there. And by that policy, that medicine that has been banned. But what happened now, our young generation, they are using it as drug because it makes them
alcohol. In fact, Fencidil is one of the number 2 top selling drug in India.
Yeah, and Bangladesh.
Also. Okay.
Also.
It has come back.
It is there.
So it was gotten rid of in 1982.
82. But what happened when we also use it as cough syrup, like 1 teaspoon of that cough syrup if someone has cough and cold. But the thing is this, after banning that Fencidil, now it has become epidemic, kind of, between the young generation, those who are using other drugs, they are more dependent on Fencidil. But interesting is this, we don't manufacture Fencidil. It is manufactured like in the border areas with some of...
There's a lot of smuggling from India.
Yeah. And we are really concerned about this, sort of drugs, how to get rid of this. Maybe that would be when there will be an international forum of talking, discussing and sharing our thoughts. Maybe that might have been a very good idea to get rid of this kind of curse medicine.
No, yeah, that's true. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think a major problem with solution will be stopped if India they ban Fencidil. But the drug lobbying is so powerful. But my question was, markets fail in the pharmaceutical sector. Where do markets work? Give me an example of one item or one sector. Mobiles. Yeah, right. It's a good example. Computers. And where prices drop, the power of the computer hard disk goes double, triple, the prices keep dropping. It's a good example. And in fact, they do a lot of R&D, like anything.